Welcome back YouTube to Rick's YouTube channel. Today's video we're going to be taking off from Duxford Aerodrome here in the United Kingdom in Air Force One. Yes, a Boeing 747 that the President of the United States of America uses. So we're at Duxford, or we will be at Duxford as soon as it loads up. And we're going to take off from the 06, so we'll be heading towards the Cambridge direction where the M11 motorway is really at the end of the runway. M11 motorway, for those that don't know, it'll take you south into London, or it'll take you north up to Cambridge, and then you'll revert to the A1, then you can go all the way to Scotland. Yeah, so this add-on was from msfaddons.org. It's really cool, apart from signage on one side, but that's down to Microsoft, I think, not allowing the mirroring effect. But here we are at Duxford. It's a World War II aerodrome. It is now converted into a museum. It's a must visit if you've never been. Plenty of air shows on in the air show season, apart from this year obviously, but just take a look at that. The mighty Air Force One taxiing out to 06. Wow, look at the size of it. Now Duxford has a relatively short runway due to the M11 cutting through the runway when it was built 30, 35, 40 years ago. So it has got a relatively short runway. It's not the first time that I've seen a Boeing 747 at Duxford. I see a South African Airways plane do its bit on a certain air show. I can't remember what year it was, but I can remember seeing the South African Airways Boeing 747 doing a display. There were no loops, but there were quite some low passes. It was a really top draw. Wow, just look at the size of that thing. Now might have to reverse this to the very end of the runway to get this beast in the air. Now regarding the scenery to Duxford, it's not too bad. There are the odd buildings that don't really reminisce how the actual airfield looks. Let's just going to have a look in showcase mode, which will be the drone. You can see Air Force One sitting on the runway. And I'm sure that hard standing next to the 06 end is not as big as that. Over there in the distance, let's get rid of some of this. Take the map off. We'll move this down. You've got the Tank Museum. Then the next building over here that doesn't resemble the American Air Museum. And then you've got the hangars. You've got the super hangar right down the bottom. And the control tower. Doesn't look like that. It's a World War II control tower, so it's more shaped like a house. In the distance, at the end of the runway, you've got the M11 motorway. So if I just speed up this drone, let's shoot off to the end of the runway, get some height. That is the M11 motorway. You've got traffic. Obviously you've got London in the distance over there, and the M11 will meet up with the A14 and A1, and you can head to Scotland. So there's the super hangar. Not too sure. It does have this big building in front of it, but it's not as big as that. Obviously, you've got the cars parked there. So, yeah, there's people in the museum. Is there anyone actually walking around? We've got a couple of cars there. The control tower, what I was saying about the control tower, that doesn't really reminisce of the actual control tower that is actually there. But these hangars here, even though they don't look like the original hangars, they are sort of modelled. And the American Air Museum, someone needs to come up with a scenery pack for Duxford, because yeah, this building here is unique. It holds a lot of great airplanes in there. And then at the far end, like I just said, you've got the Tank Museum. So let's go back over to Air Force One in all its glory. Relatively short runway. Let's jump into the cockpit, have a quick look. So we're going to put on free look. So this is the Boeing 747, well, Air Force One's cockpit. Look through the windows. Look around the back. We're going to have to stick this in reverse. Actually, we go for an external view. So we're going to release the parking brakes. Get rid of this. We're going to stick it in reverse. And we're going to slowly reverse this beast. As you can see the mirror effect there. It looks backwards, whatever you want to call it. Oh. So we have reversed. I'm just going to center this off. Go into your camera settings. Reset position. We'll move this away. Brakes are on. Let's see if we can take off in the Boeing 747 Air Force One. So we're at maximum throttle. We're just about to release the brakes. Slight bit of movement there. We are rolling. Will we make it? Will we be able to take off in Air Force One at Duxford Aerodrome? Approaching 100 knots. I can feel some lift from the front. It looks like we're going to be able to make it. 130 knots. We're going to keep going until we get to 150 knots. 150 knots. We're pulling back. Oh, check that out. Gear is up. Wow, take a look at that. Duxford in the distance. Doesn't that look nice? So in the distance over there, it looks like Cambridge Airport. Now, I'm not going to attempt to put this down there just yet. I want to get used to the 747. Not saying that I haven't landed it before, but I don't fancy landing it back at Duxford just because of the relatively short runway. Anything that big that does go into Duxford on the air show days lands at Cambridge Airport. So any fast jets, anything like a Eurofighter or anything big like that would land at Cambridge Airport and then fly over to Duxford and then display. So we'll just quickly fly this over Cambridge Airport. We're over the fine city of Cambridge. Slow this thing down. We'll switch to the showcase. Check that out. You have Cambridge Aerodrome underneath airport. What do I keep saying, aerodrome? You have Air Force One climbing at such an angle. Go back to external. I'm going to reset the position. And we're just going to cruise in Air Force One around East Anglia. So if you're new around here, I make Fortnite and Flight Simulator videos. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I shall get back to you with another video. Thanks for watching.